Hello, Mairead here. I'm sitting on a rather dismal autumn afternoon drinking rosemary tea, and I'll tell you later why I'm drinking the rosemary tea. But meanwhile, I'd love to tell you about a workshop I'm offering in Clones on Saturday. It's called the Breathing Space, and I offer this half-day workshop of breathing space. I offer it fairly regularly. It's a time where we use gentle movement, meditation practices, breathing techniques and relaxation to really slow down, come home to ourselves. It's a time when we can nurture our inner resources of strength, stability, resilience, resources that we all have, but somehow easy to forget them when we're rushing around from A to B. So this Saturday is going to be a very special breathing space because it's Samhain. Now, Samhain in the Celtic calendar, Samhain was the biggest and most important festival. It was celebrating the autumn, the end of the year, and the beginning of a new year. So it was a time when our Celtic forebears really came together and had a bit of a hoolie, as well as celebrating the harvest. They remembered their ancestors. It was a time when it was believed the veil between this world and the other world was thin. So they honoured the ancestors, they prayed for the recently departed. I also think it's a time when the veil between my outer life and my inner life are thin. That veil is more permeable, like the winter weather, the longer nights, the shorter days, the cold, all invite us, prompt us in a way to stay home more, to spend more time on quieter pursuits, reading, reflection, prayer, maybe yoga or whatever practices we do, practices for self-maintenance and for nourishing those inner resources. So this Saturday breathing space will have a very Samhain theme. We will do a beautiful circle dance around Samhain, and the circle dances are very easy to learn. They're great fun, and they bring us into a lovely reflective space. We'll also do a lovely sun dance, kind of to remind us that even though we might not see as much of the sun as we'd like over the winter, that the sun is still there and we can internalize the warmth, the radiance, the light of the sun. We can internalize that to sustain us through the winter. So there'll be some dancing, there'll be some meditation, there'll be some drinking tea. And generally speaking, these mornings, I think they're a lovely mix. They're a mix of movement and stillness. They're a mix of quiet, reflective time and also time to connect with others. So, yeah, it would be lovely. And I'll tell you now the reason why I'm drinking the rosemary tea, which is okay. It's okay. It's not my favourite tea, but it's quite nice. Anyway, I'm drinking this to appease the Cailleach. The Cailleach is a very important figure in Celtic mythology. She's associated, she's a kind of a shape-changing witch, and in the autumn and winter she can be an old crone and a hag, and then by the springtime she can shape change and become a beautiful maiden. She's associated with Bridget. But she's particularly associated with winter storms. And the last breathing space that I had scheduled in the beginning of October, we actually had to cancel. You might remember the storm Amy came in, and even though she was forecast as quite a moderate storm, she turned out to be a bit rougher than we expected, and there were fallen trees, there were floods, there were power cuts, and in the end we had to cancel. So I've been researching how to appease the Cailleach so we keep her on side for Saturday. And there are a number of ways. You could go to some of the sites associated with her, bring offerings. You could re-roof a shed as a symbol of offering her winter shelter. Now, I don't have a shed, so I can't do that one. Or you can sip rosemary tea. It seems if you sip rosemary tea, particularly near a body of water, like a river or a lake, and sipping the rosemary tea, you contemplate the earth and the water elements, that seems to please the Kyloch. So that's what I'm doing. I'm sipping rosemary tea. I even have some rosemary oil burning, and I'm doing my best to keep the Kyloch happy on side so we can meet on Saturday. So the details will be either below this or above this post. I'm not quite sure where they'll be. And do feel free to contact me if you want more information. And I'd love to see you there. So maybe see you on Saturday.